Hello and welcome to Find Out Nation. I'm one of your hosts, Jaime,
I'm one of your hosts, Nicole.
and we're here to talk about what happens when a nation starts fucking around, it finds out. And we are well into the point where the nation is
Oh, God.
really finding out at this point.
Yes.
So, yeah, we've got a lot of content to discuss today.
Yes.
But before we jump into that,
You want
Nicole,
your countdowns?
yes,
Okay.
okay.
468 before the midterms. We're
Oh my
under
God.
470.
That it's under 470, but I feel like it's gotten worse. Why does it feel like it's gotten worse?
Like it's climbing.
Yes. So seriously, it's shocking to me how certain numbers feel good and certain numbers feel bad.
Feel like it's never actually changing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But we'll talk about the midterms here later on in this podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting closer. So talk to me about Trump.
Yeah. We're 183 days in.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
okay.
He has golfed 43 out of 185 days since returning to office.
Has he golfed recently?
Yeah, last weekend.
Of course he did.
And then I think this week I think I saw something about this week he was supposed to be going to like his golf course in Scotland or something. He's doing some kind of something or other. So I'm sure that number is going to grow exponentially.
Yes, we are going to talk about this trip to Scotland because you are correct. There is a trip to Scotland coming up that the Wall Street Journal is no longer.
Are they not welcome to join?
Correct. They are not welcome to join. They have been kicked off the flight. So
their party invite got lost in the mail. Is that how that
works? They did not get the Facebook. Yeah, they did not get the Facebook. Invite or whatever.
Invite, yes.
Exactly right. Oh God. All right. Well, let's talk. Let's start. So the biggest news that has been going around is by far the Epstein files.
Mm-hmm.
You and I have talked ad nauseum about how, in all fairness, I don't know that Democrats really give two shits about the Epstein files. Right. Other than number one, seeing it completely tear apart the Republicans, especially those that are burning their MAGA hats. And I think that for the most part, like now I'm interested because yes, I think we've all believed that Trump is in the Epstein files and that obviously they're going to find things that are not good for Trump.
They're
but at the end of the day, right. I don't think that that's a surprise for any of us, right?
No. And I think the lady doth protest too much.
Exactly correct.
That's what I think.
1000% correct.
I think that if you didn't want people to believe that this was damaging to you, you'd shut the fuck up.
Okay. For realsies. Like the amount of noise that we're hearing about it is absolutely insanity, especially because like at the end of the day, again, it has not been Democrats that have been like, okay, we need the answers. So today there was the House was in session. They had a new bill that was actually being proposed by a Republican, if I remember correctly, that could have asked for an additional like opening up of Epstein files. In retaliation, Mike Johnson decides to shut down the House early for the summer so that they do not have to vote over releasing any more of the Epstein files. Johnson insisted that he wants the files released, but only those that are credible. Johnson, who has relied heavily, this is being reported out by USA Today. Johnson, who has relied heavily on Trump to hold on to leadership in the past, cast the president's reticence to release information as out of concern for the victims of Epstein. We have a moral responsibility to expose the evil of Epstein and everybody who was involved in that. Absolutely. And we're resolved to do it. But we also have to have an equally moral responsibility to protect the innocent. And that is a fine needle to thread. Can I tell you that this was the number one story on Associated Press? The number two story was The Trump administration on Monday released records of the FBI surveillance on Martin Luther King Jr. despite opposition from the slain Nobel laureate's family and the civil rights group that he led until his 1968 assassination. The hypocrisy is motherfucking real.
Well, and it's because he's trying to do everything he can to distract from the Epstein story.
Obviously, like we know why they released the Martin Luther King Jr. files, but I love that on one hand, the reason we don't want to release the Epstein files is out of respect for the victim. But on the other hand, fuck the family. We're still going to release the information on Martin Luther King Jr. I don't care what you guys want. Like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's shocking to me.
Yeah. And sorry, go ahead.
No. So besides Mike Johnson cutting the House session earlier, so now they're going to be out of session for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And of course, the bill likely would have come from someone else in his party and likely from one of the committees of the House that would have brought about whatever bill that they wanted to. Because of this, of course, Mike Johnson's hoping that in the next 4 weeks, because I think they're off for a full month, that all of the rhetoric around make sure the Epstein files are released dies down. But in addition to that, of course, this gives the Trump's DOJ plenty of time to scrub the files, look to see what's in there, exonerate Trump, get their story together, make sure they have a response to whatever's coming. So wow, this really fucking sucks for those of us who are really hoping that this was going to be the nail in the coffin. But the good news is that all Republicans are saying that I don't care what they say. 4, weeks is not enough time for them to get through everything. And at the end of the day, we're still going to call for a release of all the files. So in addition to that, the DOJ has come out and said Tuesday that it has reached out to Jeffrey Epstein's former associate, Ghislaine. Am I saying that right? Ghislaine?
Yeah, Ghislaine. Yeah.
Ghislaine Maxwell for a meeting amid backlash over the administration's handing the files related to Epstein. Justice demands courage. For the first time, the Department of Justice is reaching out to Ghislaine Maxwell to ask, what do you know? At Pam Bonnie's direction, I've contacted her counsel. I intend to meet with her soon. No one is above the law. How much do you think they're going to get after talking to Maxwell?
I don't think they're going to get shit if they don't commute her sentence.
Exactly.
Because she has no incentive to speak unless they're going to commute her 20-year sentence. And so the Department of Justice is going to have to bend themselves into a pretzel in order to give her what she wants in order to get anything out of her, because she has no incentive to speak otherwise.
That's right. And
go ahead.
No, and she's serving 20 years, I think is what I read, right? As a 20-year sentence. So to your point, so Jeffrey Epstein's gone. He's no longer a threat to her. She can say whatever she wants, but at the end of the day, I'm curious how much, her lawyers came out and said she's always going to tell the truth. She's devoted to justice. She wants to bring people down. But to your point, Trump has a very clear motivation to bribe her. Right. And she is a willing participant to say whatever he wants her to say. Yep. So at the end of the day, great, they're going to talk to her. But at the end of the day, how beneficial is this really going to be? How much is really going to come out from all of this is to yet be determined, I guess.
Yeah.
The other thing that came out was Wall Street Journal published a letter last week that Trump sent. So I guess Epstein was celebrating his 50th birthday. Funny enough, when my mother turned 60, I put together a book of letters from her friends with pictures. So I did the exact same thing for her. Trump apparently sent a letter that was part of Epstein's book when he turned 50. He apparently drew a picture of a naked woman.
Yes.
And from what I understand, the letter was pretty sexually suggestive.
There's a whole storyline.
Right. And at the end, he says something like, hopefully many happy days lived in secret or something like that.
It ends with a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday and may every day be another wonderful secret.
Wonderful secret.
This whole thing is crazy. There's a voiceover and then Donald says this and Jeffrey says this and Donald says this and Jeffrey says it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird.
And so Donald's whole he is suing the Wall Street Journal.
Yes.
For $10 billion.
10 billion. Yeah, 10 billion.
Okay. And he is saying that it is fake and defamatory and he didn't write it. And obviously he signs everything with a big black marker. I can't remember which one of his cohorts said Trump writes everything down with big black marker. He doesn't type anything up. Like, what kind of defense is that? That is the stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard. Like, oh my God. Right. Okay. So that's your defense. Yeah. So other than that, it's like also, he's basically filing this $10 billion defamation lawsuit and saying that he denies having anything due to it. The White House Pick Me says, due to the Wall Street Journal's fake and defamatory conduct, they will not be one of the 13 outlets on board when Trump goes to Scotland on his golfing trip. So he's now banished this Wall Street Journal reporter. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. We know that both Disney and Paramount have settled lawsuits with the Trump administration.
Yep.
None of them have been this high. $10 billion is way larger than anything else we've heard.
Yeah.
Rupert Murdoch, who obviously owns Fox News and is a big Trump fan, or at least was at one time. Not to mention the fact that he is a 4-year-old curmudgeon.
Yes.
Will he settle with Trump? What are the odds? What do you think?
So so I have a few things on these. Okay. I think Rupert is nothing more than a figurehead at this point.
I would agree because from what I understand, I was reading about at the January 6th riots, he had sent something to the Fox News and was like, make this motherfucker pay, and nothing happened. And so, right. So I tend to agree that he is just a figurehead, but I still think he has enough sway I think if they're going to make a payment, it's going to have to come. If it's anywhere near $10 billion, right? It's going to have to at least.
Yeah. So here's a few things that I have on this. So with this $10 billion ridiculous lawsuit.
I know.
Couple of things to bear in mind. So so the Wall Street Journal reached out to him before they released the story.
Yeah.
And they said, this is the story we're working on. Here's the information we have. He denied the letter, stating that those were not his words, that that's not the way he talks, and that he doesn't draw pictures. Okay. So the Journal told him they were still going to report it. And he said, if you report it, I'll sue you. And they said, okay. So then what's hilarious is that I started doing all this, it didn't take me much Googling to figure out all of these drawings that he has done for charity, that have been auctioned off for charity, that are drawn with marker, that are signed in his stupid ass signature. In his 2008 book, Trump Never Give Up, How I Turned My Biggest Challenges into Success, he wrote about his new talent, adding he usually draws for charity, and it takes me minutes to draw something. In my case, usually a building, a cityscape, or a skyscraper. He said, art may not be my strong point, but the end result is help for people who need it. The book includes pictures of drawings that he has donated. Sotheby's, in January of this year, sold a Trump doodle with a photo of him for $15,000. The picture was dated from 2004. It was initially a benefit for a food pantry. There was also something from 2003, which was the original picture was from 2003, the same year he sent the doodle to Epstein. In 2017, another one of his skyline drawings sold for $29,000, originally done for charity in 2005. So he's done drawings. So this shit just got debunked. So I wanted to put that out there. But also, so something I saw yesterday, another conspiracy theory, is that a day or two before the Wall Street Journal story broke, JD Vance was pictured meeting with Rupert Murdoch.
No.
Yes. So the conspiracy theory now is, have some of the millionaires and gazillionaires are 1%ers, are they fed the fuck up with him? And so this is now going to become like a, can JD run the government? Can they buy JD the way that they, you know what I'm saying? Because he's now become detrimental to them. So back to your original question on do I think they will pay? Dow Jones came out and said they vigorously defended the reporting. They defended their reporters. They defended, they said, we have full confidence in the rigor and accuracy of our reporting and will vigorously defend against any lawsuit. So I read this about what he would have to do to win the case if they take it to court. He'd have to prove that they were lying or failed to properly fact check the claims for their story.
Right.
A First Amendment attorney that I was reading an article on said that he would have to prove the story was false, damaging to his reputation, and published with actual malice. Like all three of those things he'd have to prove, and that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
And he's not going to want them to go through discovery.
Oh.
Because if this goes to trial, if the Wall Street Journal holds their ground and this goes to trial, he'll have to sit for depositions. And what else do they have that he is unaware of?
Well, and how would anyone prove that you did or didn't? You know what I mean?
Yes.
To your point, because I read the same thing about the Wall Street Journal. It was like they 1000% stood behind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
yeah,
how stupid would they have to be to report out on Donald Trump and try and be like, meh, yeah, we kind of heard about this. Maybe we're going to
be fast and loose with the facts.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Because to your point, especially if JD Vance's meeting with Rupert Murdoch before, there is no fucking way that they did not know. That a reporter was 1000% confident that they were correct. They got it from Melania Trump handed it over, or Ivanka Trump handed it over,
or Jelaine
whoever he was married to, was saying, here you go, here it is.
And that's
there's
the thing.
No doubt in my mind.
He is not going to want to go through discovery on this.
No way.
He will not. And so what I also find interesting is that there was reporting out over the weekend that we had 1,000 FBI agents working 24-hour shifts, combing through hundreds of thousands of documents looking for his name. And Dick Durbin wants them to testify now because what did you find? That got flagged.
Right. Because I heard the same thing. I heard exactly the same thing, that it was that there were agents, but I could not find an actual verifiable article that specifically pointed to, we got, notified by Pam Bondi or whoever.
Yeah.
Even though that was what I was hearing, but I could not find an actual verifiable article that said, yes, we have been working around the clock to try and find Trump's name, flag it so that we can specifically look at those, parts of the documentation.
Yeah.
Because to your point, that's exactly what we're all afraid of, is that they're specifically looking for Trump's name, flagging it, and then trying to mitigate.
And the shredder is burning the midnight oil.
Exactly. Light it the fuck on fire. So one way or another, that's exactly what we're all worried about, right?
Yes. Yeah. So no, I don't know. $10 billion. He's never going to get $10 billion.
No shit.
That's a ridiculous amount of money. Do I think there could be a settlement later? Maybe. I'm hoping hell not. I hope that
I hope it goes through trial.
Me too.
So that, to your point,
I
hope he has to fucking testify.
Yeah. Because he'll fold. There will be some other excuse for what, just like this whole thing about him telling Bondi to get the grand jury testimony released. They're never going to release the grand jury testimony. That shit's sealed to protect the victims. It's sealed to protect whoever has testified, and is being protected for their testimony, all of those things. And so you're never going to get grand jury documents unsealed, and he knows that, but this is a way for them to blame the courts. Well, we said do it, and the court said no.
Exactly.
And so when he drops this lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal, it'll be because there's something bigger that he needs to focus on. And it's all, because he's already talking about how it's a hoax. He's already talking about how it's a witch hunt, his normal refrain, whatever. But I hope they stick to their fucking guns, because I'm so sick of these fucking people caving to this goddamn.
I know, capitulating to him and just doing whatever he says. So to your point, that's the other thing that we have seen is we have seen multiple attempts for Trump to try and divert attention or even try and get some type of sympathy.
Yep.
At first, again, we had a couple of like random things that he was throwing out of just, why is this, like, why are you still bothering with this? Why do you still care about the Epstein files? Then at the end of last week, I want to say, he came out with the diagnosis of, what is it again?
His Cankles.
I know, the Cankles.
Yes.
The 79-year-old Cankles, but it's got a name.
Yes. CVF. Chronic venous insufficiency in his lower legs.
And it's where like blood pools in your lower legs.
Yeah.
Okay. And you and I are both hearing different things. Like, because on one hand, I'm hearing every old person gets it. It's a sedentary lifestyle. It's being overweight. Like, it's just something that everybody gets. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, like, I battle with my own cankles when I sit here in front of my computer every day. So I get it. Like, I get it happens. But then I'm also hearing that, like, there have been plenty of nurses coming out on TikTok that are like, no, when it comes to the point where it's this, because like when you texted me that, hey, by the way, this is happening, I was like, oh, but I know a lot of old people that have like the cankle, like it happens, right? I get it. But then when I got on TikTok, which I try to stay off the TikToks, but it's so fucking hard. I finally like started watching the TikToks, like these nurses are like, no, bitch, it can be a real thing. Like people die from this shit.
Yeah. Cause it's the body's inability to pump it's, it's fighting gravity to pump it back up to your heart. So then when it isn't working properly, it's just pooling in your lower extremities. And so, but I have seen people trolling him with like pictures of Biden's ankles and pictures of Bush's ankles. And like, they look normal.
Are they svelte?
They are. Like, they're very normal. They're not.
Okay.
They're not bulbous like Trump's. But like, here's the other thing for me with this is that I don't believe Dr. Barbabella, which was his White House physician the first time around, who was like, he's the fittest president that's ever sat in the White House.
Bullshit.
And so he's out here saying that he went through all of this stuff. Oh, we have to talk about the hand bruising too. We got to talk about that.
Oh.
So there was no evidence of DVT or arterial disease. He remains in excellent health. Bitch, this is not excellent health. His heart it's not pumping back up to the heart. This is not excellent health.
Correct.
Tests showed normal cardiac structure and function. Impossible when blood is pooling in your ankles, sir.
Correct.
No signs of heart failure, renal impairment, or systematic illness were identified. So the bruising on the back of the hand, did you see like the close-ups of like the makeup or the flesh-colored bandage?
In fact, who was it that, I think it was Seth Meyers that was like, he's literally melting.
Yes.
Like, you can see it. He's literally melting.
Yes, like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah.
So Dr. Barbabella, this guy's got the stupidest name. So he said that this is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. He remains in excellent health, exhibiting robust cardiac, pulmonary, neurological, and general physical function. Okay. Why is he on an aspirin then?
Yeah. Yeah.
My husband's
exactly what I was thinking is like, okay, if he is on an aspirin, if he's managing a cardiac problem, then he's got a cardiac problem. That's the whole fucking point. He's got a cardiac problem. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I just like, he is on cholesterol medications and then his aspirin and some kind of cream for a skin condition, the doctor said. But I find it hilarious that this is from frequent handshaking.
Yeah.
What a load of shit. Way. This is because your fucking veins are full of McDonald's French fry salt and your shit is like, your veins are literally trying to suck every ounce of moisture they can out of your body.
And
they're so constricted.
I want to make sure that our viewers understand. I am not judging you for eating McDonald's for every meal.
Oh God, no. I love it.
From my McDonald's.
Yeah. No, let's be clear. I love salty ass McDonald's.
That's right. Fries. My veins, I am positive when I'm 79, I'm going to have me some fat ass Cankles.
Yes.
I'm prepared for that. Mm-hmm. The difference is that I'm not going to try and convince everyone that I am a bastion of health and virility. Correct. When y'all can see my hands are melting and my cankles are bulbous.
Yeah, busting out of my shoes.
But
let's also remember, this is the man that when he contracted COVID, checked himself out of the hospital against medical advice because, by God, he had to be the picture of, physical health. And I remember watching him climb those fucking stairs and have to stop halfway because he couldn't fucking catch his breath, get up on the balcony facing the press pool, and he's literally, you can tell he's gasping. Just standing there because he wasn't well. But this man cannot. I mean, this is the same man that lied about bone spurs to not have to fight in Vietnam.
Exactly.
Yet will not admit when he's not well. And if you can't admit something that basic, Jesus Christ. Like, everybody goes through health shit. Everybody goes through health shit.
Yes. That's the frustrating thing, is that if, like, you and I have been very open and honest about our weight loss troubles and our, like, my experience with Zepbound, and we've talked through, all sorts of different things on this. And we are always willing to, like, and if you're not talking about things, you're not going to become relatable to people. So this, I weigh 220 pounds. Go fuck yourself. You don't weigh anywhere near 220 pounds. Right. Because you eat McDonald's for every other meal.
And you don't even walk.
Yes. And
the farthest you walk is from the White House to the fucking helicopter.
That's right. That's right. You barely walk from your golf cart to the tee box, for crying.
Correct.
So to your point, like, it is what it is, but, like, sir.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the reality here. You're not
healthy.
Fooling anyone.
No. I mean, after his first annual physical, after he got elected again, he told reporters, overall, I feel I'm in very good shape, and added that he thought he had a good heart, a good soul, a very good soul.
Well, this is the same person.
That's not part of the physical?
Yes, that keeps telling everybody that, like, he passed the IQ test because he could identify a camel. Like, good job, sir. You can identify a camel. That's how you.
So can a 4-year-old. I don't know. So can
a fucking 4-year-old. I think Betty. I think if I was like, Betty, too. Is this a camel or is this a camel? Could come up with, that one's 100%. The camel.
Yeah, I don't think that that's not quite the flex that he thinks that it is.
I don't think it is either. That's exactly right. We're back to Peepaw, who is very.
I was going to say
he could still identify a camel.
Somebody in cognitive decline that has taken the Alzheimer's test. That's the mark of a.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't for 1 second believe what they're telling us about he has no other health conditions other than his cholesterol is a little high.
So to your point, like, even more so than just I'm suing Robert Murdoch for $10 billion. We definitely are. I feel, at least, and I think you do too, that we're at least exploring the possibility that this could be a JD Vance presidency sooner rather than later.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Speaking of the deflection, so we had the Cankle diagnosis.
Yes.
King Cankle. That's what we're calling him. King Cankle.
I love it.
Yes. Then came the Obama AI arresting video.
Don't like.
Are you on Andy Horowitz's Substack?
No.
Okay. Well, maybe it was his Facebook page. I don't remember which, but he's like, Trump released a fake AI video of Obama getting arrested. And so Obama released real video of Trump at his trial and pick me
his mugshot.
And I'm sure this is all satirical, but
Yeah.
Pick Me came on and was like, Trump would never post a real video. That's below the dignity of this office, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, that sounds exactly like she didn't say that, but it sounded exactly like something she would say.
But this is also, because this is also the president that can't tell the difference between a doctored photo and a real one.
100%. And so Trump basically came in and said, because there was a new memo that came out from Trump's DOJ that was like, it seriously questioned whether or not the long agreed upon in the bipartisan effort to investigate the 2016 election that came out saying there was evidence that the 2016 election was meddled by Russia. There is a new report that Trump commissioned that now says, well, we don't know about that. We think that there's evidence that wasn't true, that the report wasn't accurate. And he is using that to basically say that Obama should be arrested, which was why he put out the video. So the article that I read said, after Trump accused the former president of treason for being the ringleader of the Russia investigation, Barack Obama's issued a statement saying, these bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at a distraction. He said that they would not normally dignify the constant nonsense from the White House with a response, but the claims are outrageous enough to merit one. Out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response, but these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. He emphasized that multiple investigations, including a bipartisan examination by the Senate Intelligence Committee, found that Russia did meddle in the 2016 election. But from Trump, he told reporters on Tuesday that they tried to rig the election and they got caught. There should be very severe consequences for that, which is obviously a complete attempt to deflect attention from the Epstein files to
because it was determined that Russia meddled on Trump's behalf. I don't believe President Obama would have any reason to be involved in that.
Well, especially because at the end of the day, like, how successful was that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And if what was President Obama he wasn't gonna get to benefit. He wasn't gonna get to stay in the White House if Trump lost the election. How the fuck would, he is so obsessed with President Obama.
Oh, I know.
It is insane. His obsession with him.
But this brings about another.
Just say you want to make out.
Yeah. If you want to, right. Like if you want to sit at the cool kids table, just say it out loud.
Just Michelle will let you.
That's right. Michelle will let you sit at her lunch table, for fuck's sake.
We'll let you stand behind everybody like Mike Johnson on Air Force One. Right. When he doesn't get to sit at the table with everyone else having McDonald's, but he gets to be in the picture.
That's right. But it really is, in my mind, so scary that Trump is posting these fake AI videos.
Yes.
Two things. Number one, you're right. The motherfucker doesn't know the difference between real and fake. By the way, can you hear her?
I see her, but I can't hear her.
She is mad at someone, and so she's
rumbling.
She's like grunting over them. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Maybe she's pissed at these AI videos. Like maybe she's a with it dog. She knows that this is bullshit.
That's exactly right.
Because the reality is like, we all know it's an AI fake video and we're reporting it out that this is an AI fake video and we're saying it as much as possible. But it's not like Trump is like, look at this AI fake video of Obama getting arrested. Trump is just releasing a video of Obama getting arrested. We know his supporters are cult members and they're not very intelligent. They're not very intelligent, especially at identifying misinformation versus non-misinformation. So you know that there is a whole subset of Trump supporters who are like, finally, Obama's getting arrested.
Yeah. I mean, they're the same supporters that believed Pizzagate.
Yes. Yes.
That there's a cabal of Democrats that are like stealing children and drinking their blood. Like, it's insane. So
that is 1000% correct. So
this man put President Obama and his family's lives in jeopardy. He has done it since President Obama started running for president.
Yes.
And so his obsession, unfortunately, will not die until he does.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And it's absolutely insane. Like to your point, the obsession is very, very clear. Like Obama is living rent fucking free all over that man's brain.
Yep.
Okay. Other than that, can we take a moment to talk about immigration? I realize that honestly, immigration has not been the forefront of every reporter's reporting. When I was researching articles, I read the article about what's his name, Louis Leon. Yeah, the grandfather from Pennsylvania, which I think you have some details on that you can share with us. But obviously, immigration is still like a problem, and it's still affecting real life families. So even though I know that it's not like the breaking news story, I would like us to spend at least 5 or 10 minutes just talking over some of these scenarios because they have been so heartbreaking to read. So, Nicole, what do you have on Louis Leon? I know what I read, but it was just like a headline.
Okay, so ICE secretly deported an 82-year-old grandfather after he lost his green card. So, 82-year-old Louis Leon was secretly deported to Guatemala after visiting an immigration office last month to replace his stolen green card. His family has not heard from him. So he was granted asylum in 1987 after being tortured under the regime of Chilean dictator Augusto. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
That's all right.
Okay.
Augusto's good.
Okay. So he lost his wallet containing his physical card that confirmed his legal residency. So he and his wife this is what is so disturbing to me. So he and his wife booked an appointment to get it replaced, which is what you're supposed to do.
Legally. Exactly right.
Yes.
Legally.
Yes.
Yes.
When he arrived at the office on June 20th, he was handcuffed by 2 ICE officers who led him away from his wife without explanation. She was kept in the building for 10 hours until relatives came to pick her up. Sometime after he was detained, a woman purporting to be an immigration lawyer called the family claiming she could help, but did not disclose how she knew about the case or where he was. On July 9th, his granddaughter stated that the same woman contacted the family again, stating that he had died. A week later, they discovered from a relative in Chile that he was alive after all, but now in a hospital in Guatemala. The relative stated that he was initially sent to an immigration detention center in Minnesota before being deported to Guatemala, despite not appearing on any ICE deportation lists. His condition in the hospital is unknown at this time. He suffers from diabetes, high blood pressure, and a heart condition, according to his family, who are trying to arrange a flight to Guatemala to see him.
Oh my God. Because I thought when I read about it, like he's refusing to come. He doesn't want to come back to America. Is that right?
I don't know. I haven't read that. I don't know. I'm just horrified. That clearly ICE is they've infiltrated everything. So you're trying to do something legally to replace your documents and they're arresting you before you even get an opportunity.
Yes. Like here, he's clearly trying to do the right thing. Like I've lost my green card, but I am supposed to be here. I am legal. I've lost my green card. So I'm going to do the right thing and get a replacement. And nope, sorry. ICE is going to pick you up and ship you off.
And he's not a criminal.
You're not a criminal. He said, the article that I read, he was like, his family was like, he has not even had a speeding ticket. Mm-mm. Like the man has not even jaywalked in his years of being here ever.
Yep.
Republicans, what do you have to say about this?
Yeah. Well, and then did you read about the reporting that's coming out on some of the detention facilities?
No.
So there were some advocacy groups last week that reported out that migrants in some of the ICE detention centers, specifically Chrome, Broward, and the downtown Miami jail, so all 3 of those are in Florida.
Yeah.
Were reportedly subjected to degrading treatment, including being shackled and forced to kneel to eat like dogs.
Oh, God.
Denied basic hygiene and medical care, and confined in overcrowded, unsanitary conditions. They were being held on buses for over 24 hours. crammed into frigid intake rooms without beds, and cameras were turned off during violent crackdowns. So here's what I want to say on that. I am old enough to remember when we all found out what was happening in Guantanamo Bay in our names in the name of fighting terrorism.
Yep.
These people are not convicted of anything. They have not been charged with anything. They are not, like, they're not being treated like human beings. I remember being horrified when I found out about the waterboarding and saw the pictures of
That's what I was going to say. Do you remember the pictures of the soldiers, like,
yes,
with people
and the dog
that were
collars,
dead?
Yes, and the dog collars around their necks,
yes,
and like walking them like dogs up and down, like the
and
things
bags over their heads, and these were people that, like, to your point, this was all in the name of terrorism, and they were trying to pick up like actual terrorists. Yeah, the people we're talking about today have never committed a fucking crime.
Yeah,
this and is if they have never. This guy never committed a crime.
Nope.
And I just pick them up and treat them this way because that's how we fucking treat them.
Yep. So ICE deported approximately 100,000 people from January to June 24th. 70,583 of those people were convicted criminals, mostly for traffic or immigration violations. Less than 1% had murder convictions, under 2% for sex crimes, and nearly 30% had no criminal record at all.
So don't tell me this is about making the country safer.
Because it's
never fucking tell me that this has to do with trying to make this country fucking safer. You're full of fucking shit.
And I'll say this and then we can move on if you want to, but I was listening to Pod Save America.
Yeah.
Because I love Pod Save America.
Me too.
And they had an interesting take on this whole immigration thing and like how the Democrats need to be, what they need to be doing to kind of put the Republicans on their heels, because the Democrats just want to say, you know, like, we're a country of immigrants. Everyone should be welcome here, blah, 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 which is 100% true. But there is some truth to be said in like, we don't want violent criminals here.
No.
You know, if they're fleeing their country and because they're violent criminals and they're coming here, we don't want that here. And so the guys on Pod Save America were saying, so the Democrats need to come out and say, yeah, we want those people gone too. Let's work on a bipartisan deal for immigration to get those. Okay. Somebody drove by. They had the audacity.
Well, and so they have a UTV, like on a utility vehicle. And Betty, so there are like 4 dogs that ride on the back of this UTV. Oh. And Betty wants to ride it so
bad.
So bad.
She's got FOMO.
Yes. Do you see how sad she looks?
She is very sad that her friends are not letting her ride.
Yeah. We were walking the other day and it went by and all the dogs jumped off to go see Betty and she got so excited.
Oh my God.
And then she's like, okay, but now I'm freaked out. So it was like, okay, I want it, but I don't want it that bad. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So
so Democrats were saying, what were they saying?
So the Pod Save America guys were saying the Democrats need to say, yes, we agree that we don't want those type of people in our country. So let's work on a bipartisan deal to get, you know, a decent immigration plan in place on how we get rid of those violent criminals. But we've got to identify that they're actually violent criminals, and it will put the Republicans back on their heels, because now what? Now the Democrats are saying, let's work together to figure out a way to do this. And the Republicans aren't interested in that, because all they want to be able to do is advertise that the Democrats want rapists and murderers living in our country.
Well, that, and the only thing that Republicans care about is getting rid of brown people. Like, that's all Correct. They care about is let's get rid of brown people. But here's my thing. I am at the point where I'm like, fuck the Republicans, fuck bipartisan, that does not exist anymore. No. Like, to me, this election cycle and Project 2025 has illustrated the need that now you have to win by whatever means necessary, take over and just throw in whatever you want to throw in, because this whole, like, yes, we're going to work on bipartisan. We're going to work on, like, why are we capitulating to the right when they're, okay, that's the second time I've used capitulate into this podcast. And I have to say, like, I don't know that I've ever used like this often ever. So I swear to God, I'm not like just learning this word for the first time.
And using it in a sentence. Yes.
Right. And using it like I don't have vocabulary toilet paper that has inspired me today. But regardless, like I don't know why we're just bowing down to the Republicans and doing like whatever we need to do to think that government is ever going to operate the way that it did at one time.
Well, because we know they would never do it.
That's right. Fuck that. At this point, fuck yourselves. If we do want to really find the people that are the worst people in the country or prevent real violent criminals from doing what they're doing, we know what that means. That means like actually having trials, actually having due process, actually having like some sort of means. And if that's what we want to support, I'm all for it. But to your point, this let's work together. I'm so done with let's work together at this point.
Yeah.
I have a hard time getting on board with anything like that, but I understand the point. And the point is like, hey, rationally, if we have people that are here that shouldn't be here, yes, we need to flesh those people out. But it doesn't mean detaining everyone and then just shipping them off to Guantanamo Bay, to your point. Yeah. Instead, it means having real, actual reviews, due process, arresting people that need to be arrested, trying people, finding out who are the bad guys and the good guys, and then deporting as we should be.
And they're not 82-year-old grandfathers from Pennsylvania who lost their fucking green card and are just trying to get it replaced.
In fact, I would venture to say that 100% of people that are walking into some type of office, governmental office, whether it's to have their driver's license renewed, to replace their green card, to have their immigration
appointment
hearing,
like they're checking.
Yes, they're checking. Any of those people probably are not worried because they don't have a criminal background and they probably should not be arrested and deported.
Correct.
And honestly, I think if you asked anyone that, Republican, Democrat, MAGA, non-MAGA, cult-like, doesn't matter, they would come to that same conclusion. And if not, it just reiterates the fact that they're all fucking stupid. Anyway, oh God.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so yes, immigration sucks balls.
Yeah.
Speaking of sucking balls, I did want to take 1 minute and just let everybody know that the U.S. Olympics and Paralympics teams or committees have banned transgender women from competing in women's sports. Love that fucking journey for us. She said sarcastically.
Because it's all in the name of protecting women.
That's right. It's all in the name of protecting women from predators that, would prey on them and just grab them by the pussy.
Exactly.
Oh, wait. No, who is that? That's right.
Right.
Okay. But the last topic that I have on my list is the voting. So we just talked about the fact that we are 470 some odd days away from the midterm elections. In order to try and solidify the Republican being able to keep control of the House, because it is quite the history lesson that Republicans generally lose midterm elections. Whatever the prevailing party usually loses midterm elections. That's pretty typical. So Trump, in an effort to try and keep the House, has asked Texas to basically draw new gerrymandering lines to give themselves 5 new seats in the House?
5 new seats. Yep.
Actually, this is not my last comment because my last comment is about your shirt, but this is my second to the last comment. So they are trying to write 5 new seats in the House. We know for a fact that like gerrymandering is a reality. We know they fucking want to like redraw districts, redraw lines. With that said, there have been plenty of people that have come on and said, you know what's interesting? If Texas does redraw their gerrymandering lines, they could actually end up drawing lines. Like Texas is enough of a volatile state, especially in the densest populations where you would be redrawing districts, that you don't know that you might actually end up creating more Democratic districts than you realize.
Really?
So I guess the census, and I guess it's called dummy mandering is what the phrase for doing that is. Okay. So I guess the census requires that states redraw districts every 10 years based on population. Okay. Which I did not realize that was a thing, but apparently it was a thing. But I guess you can have special elections or special legislative events where you can decide to go ahead and redraw districts in between those every 10-year, like especially if you have population booms. Texas is one of those states that they are welcoming something like 1,500 new residents every fucking day, which is
Jesus.
just crazy to me. But like, they are like one of the highest uh, population growing states in the entire country. Because
That's
of that,
wild.
they're using that to go ahead and try and rewrite these lines. But everyone's saying that like, this is a perfect example of high risk, high rewards, because they
Yeah.
could do all this and end up writing 5 new Democratic districts and making other districts so weak that now they switch to Democratic. In addition to that, I
That
think
would
you
be
read this and
hilarious.
I read this, that California is considering retaliating by saying, fine, you want to redraw your fucking districts? We'll redraw our fucking districts. And being able to like now make a big difference in
Yeah.
how, because California is also growing, they continue to grow
Yeah.
as a state. So like, so Obama came out last week and was like, Democrats have to stop navel gazing and actually do something
Do
about.
something.
That's right. This to me speaks to exactly that of, and love him or hate him, because God knows there are things about Gavin Newsom I fucking detest. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like that's exactly like we have to start fighting fire with fucking fire. And this is
Yeah.
a
I mean,
perfect example of that.
yeah, between Newsom and JB Pritzker in Illinois, at least they've got the fucking tits to do something, to speak the fuck up, to do something. Like, Jesus Christ, we're all just, I mean, Gretchen Whitmer went to the fucking White House and hung her head in shame when Trump put her on camera because she, like, it's just, so yes, I'm just glad that they're doing something.
At least they're exploring their options. At
Yes.
least they're not just sitting there hand wringing going, well, there's nothing
What do
we
we
can do.
do?
God. Right. Like, and we've talked a big game before when, the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade
Mm-hmm.
and the Democratic Party was beside themselves. AOC got on and was like, we're going to impeach the Supreme Court. We're going to like move for new Supreme Court. And at the time, we actually had the capabilities to vote some of that shit in, and
Yeah.
we did nothing. We
Yep.
did nothing.
Yep.
We wrung our hands. We sat on our hands. We did absolutely nothing.
Yep.
So to your point, like if we continue down this path, we are going to continue losing and losing. And the midterm elections, even if we take back the House, if we do nothing with it, it'll be one step forward, 5,000 goddamn steps backwards.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, we have to develop a plan. And to be perfectly honest, as much as Trump has said, oh, I have no idea what Project 2025 is, da 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 da, we all know it was the playbook. And we're seeing that.
Yep.
We've seen that.
Yep.
We're going to talk in
Yep.
a minute about your shirt, which is point blank part of the Project 2025 playbook. So
Yep.
we know that that was a playbook of what Republicans are going to need to do to make sure to install their legacy for decades to come. Democrats have to do the same. What is our
Yeah.
legacy? What are the things we're going to do? What are the very real I talk about this in my job all the time. Leaders love to talk way up here. Like,
Yep.
oh, we have philosophical differences about X, Y, and Z. So these are the philosophical things that we need to talk as a nation. But where the rubber hits the road are what are the tangible things we have to do to make sure that our legacy, our platform is
Yeah.
what makes it in. Like we have to know what that thing is. And so Democrats, we have to start writing that playbook right fucking now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Can I give a quick update on what I talked about last week with the voting things?
Yes.
So, from the democracy docket, I have an update on when I was talking about the 9 states that had been contacted about, hey, give us access to this and give us access to that. Okay, so
Yeah.
I kind of have a breakdown, and I'll
Okay.
go quickly because I know we're almost out of time.
You're fine.
So the states that were contacted: Alaska, Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Minnesota, Nevada, New Hampshire, New York, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Wisconsin. Those are the ones that have been contacted so far.
So I'm hearing almost all
blue states.
swing states. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, except for Oklahoma for sure.
For sure. Like there are a couple in
and
there
Florida.
that are not, but just keep in mind, like these are swing
most of
states.
them.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And Colorado was the one that they put their thumb on the most.
Of course.
So Alaska received a letter asking about its procedures in complying with certain provisions of the National Voter Registration Act. They requested access to the voter rolls, a list of election officials responsible for the voter registration lists, and a list of all registered voters who were determined to be non-citizens in the last election. Right. What I don't have is like a lot of like how the states responded. Okay. I know how Colorado responded because we talked about that last week, but I don't have a lot on the other states. Right. Arizona, they got a letter stating that Arizona state officials are not properly verifying voter identities in violation of federal law and were warned of a possible lawsuit. No idea how they're proving that. So the DOJ sent a letter demanding that the state turn over all records related to the 2024 election, along with any records of the 2020 election that remain in the state's archives. Colorado responded with the most current version of its publicly available voter file, along with data sets showing voter history. The GOP political operative and former rep of Lauren Bobo, Chief of Staff Jeff Small, contacted the county clerks asking if they would allow the federal government to inspect election equipment, saying he was working with the White House. He quickly got told, no, that's not happening. Yeah. But Tina Peters, a former GOP local election clerk in Colorado, was sentenced last year to 9 years in prison for her role in a voting system data breach, the result of a failed conspiracy theory driven to attempt to find voter fraud.
Yeah.
The DOJ has taken steps earlier this year to support her appeal of her conviction because she was working on their behalf. Florida, the DOJ has requested access to their voter registration rolls, which are available to the public, and the state provided access to the department. Minnesota, they were demanded access to the voter registration rolls and listed 14 other questions inquiring about the state's compliance with federal voting laws. The same thing happened in Nevada, as well as they requested an agreement to share certain information on voters who were targeted by Trump's anti-voting executive order.
Yeah.
New Hampshire was the same way. Access to voter registration rolls, 14 other questions. Same with New York. Oklahoma, they contacted the state election board by phone. This is the only state that they didn't get a letter. They called them and requested access to the state's voter registration rolls. The statewide list is publicly available under state law, and the state directed the Department of Justice to the online portal where they could request those lists. Pennsylvania was sent a letter asking numerous questions about how Pennsylvania manages its voter rolls and inquiring into its compliance with federal voting laws. Rhode Island, they've requested a meeting to discuss a potential information sharing agreement on voter registration data to help with the department's hunt for voter fraud. And then in Wisconsin, their letter claimed that the DOJ has received several complaints regarding the state's compliance with federal voting laws. The DOJ asked that the Elections Commission send various data along with access to their voter rolls. So,
I mean, because it makes you wonder, what do they want with this? Like, it's obviously nefarious, right?
Correct.
Like, it's obvious, like, they want to know that you and I are sitting here in Kansas City, Missouri, voting against Trump. Like, that is the whole fucking point of this.
Yep.
And again, I can see why in swing states where there is, I mean, Wisconsin went by like, I don't remember. It felt like 30,000 votes, but maybe it wasn't that crazy.
Yeah. And it's just, like I said last week, this is the part where I start to get a little twitchy about, holy shit, are we not going to have another election? Right. I mean, he said we weren't going to ever have to vote again if we put him back in office. So this is the part where I'm like, I'm trying not to be that person. And yet the fact that they're already reaching out to these states and requesting this information and wanting access to the election machines, like it just, it makes me twitchy, makes me real twitchy.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and I will say that the popular vote in Wisconsin in the 2024 election was within 30,000 votes.
Good for you and your memory, girl.
I know. I'm surprised that that's accurate,
Good for
but
you.
it was like 1.697 went to Donald Trump, 1.668 went to Kamala Harris. So like, that's just, to me, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's less than a 1% margin. And so it doesn't surprise me that they're wanting to reach out to find out, okay, who are the 30,000 people that either we can prevent from voting or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that does not surprise me that this is what they're doing.
Because they'll start purging people off the voter rolls.
Exactly right.
So you show up to vote and they're
you can't
like,
vote.
We don't have
That's
you.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but we thought it was fraud. Okay,
Correct.
bitch.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's really depressing. God bless America. It's getting worse. Like I think, know. And I was thinking about this last week after our podcast last week, that it is really starting to sink in how much of Project 2025 has been able to easily been enacted in only less than 200 days of the Trump presidency. Like 470 whatever days cannot get here fast enough. And I do not believe that we will be in a position in a year and a half to actually guarantee that the Democrats are going to take over at midterms. So at the end of the day, like they've got 400 days left to try and get the rest of Project 2025 launched. But I see no reason why they're not going to be able to continue even after the midterms if the Democrats really don't make some changes, which is really depressing to me.
Yep.
Okay. Speaking of just shoving in Project 2025.
Yeah.
One of the biggest items on the list was definitely around media. First of all, we talked about the Robert Murdoch Wall Street Journal. We know that last week and the week before, you and I had both talked about the Paramount settlement for $16 million. Yeah. And the funny thing about it is that I kind of I wanted to talk about it because it seems like a big deal. But at the time I was like, yeah, but is it that big a deal? This week, Stephen Colbert, it was announced that the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was getting canceled, the entire show.
Yes.
Executives have come out and said it has nothing to do with politics. It's all about the fact that it's all financial in nature. But all of the numbers indicate that the Late Show was the most profitable, the most popular, and the highest rated of all of the late shows. So the fact that they would be shutting it down makes very little sense. Donald Trump posted today on Truth Social about, well, if I had anything to do with this being shut down, then yay for me, and let's keep shutting down the rest of late night television. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next and Jimmy Fallon's right after him. So Donald Trump's ecstatic about this. On top of that, David Letterman sent out a post on his YouTube channel today that was just a subtle montage of all the times that he told CBS to go fuck themselves, basically.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he never got fired, but then Stephen Colbert is now getting escorted out. You and I both know that once journalists especially, but just any television goes away is when a lot of people are worried about the future of our democracy. With that said, between that and social media, most people get most of their information off of TV and social media. I myself watch The Late Show all the time, and I watch it on YouTube on social media. So we'll see what ends up happening there. In addition to The Late Show getting shut down, the Republicans got together and got a last minute rescission of all funding for public broadcasting.
Yep.
So
that's fun.
That's fun. NPR, PBS, all losing large number of federal grants.
Yep.
And one of the things that I was reading about this week was that the biggest losers in all of this are the local rural stations that rely on the federal funding to keep afloat and to keep their citizens informed of what's going on. Because I guess Lyndon Johnson signed the Public Broadcasting Act back in the 60s that basically said there will be at least some channels, both on radio and on television, dedicated to public broadcasting that won't have any commercials. on it whatsoever. And so they don't sell commercials.
Ad space.
Right. They don't sell ad space. Exactly right. And so Trump and his team have long time said that that is all left-wing propaganda.
It's woke.
And have been, right. It's all too woke. And so they've been trying to shut it down. And sadly, this week, they are likely to get a lot of that shut down.
They succeeded.
For what's really sad are the rural stations that literally are just trying to inform their local people.
Yeah. It makes me sad. I mean, we grew up with PBS. I grew up watching Reading Rainbow, and that's where my sister watched, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and we watched Sesame Street. My child grew up watching Sesame Street, on PBS, like all the things. It's frustrating as well, because what are we going to do about it?
Yeah. So here's the thing that I have to say. A lot of people, because I guess Markowski tried to come in at the last minute. So here's what I heard. I guess there are 1,500 affiliate stations, the majority of which are in rural cities and counties and whatever. Yeah. Of those, like 1,500, there are 34 stations that get more than half their funding from the federal grants. Of those 34 stations, 12 are in Alaska. Mm-hmm. And so Markowski came in and tried to exempt money set aside for rural stations that are unaffiliated. And of course, Project 2025 is like, no, go fuck yourself. We want to get rid of all public broadcasting. And sure as shit, like that's what they did. And so like she's all pissed off, and plenty of other places are all pissed off because they're like, everyone's come in and said, we might have enough funding to last through maybe December, but after December, all bets are off and we're going to be shut down.
Well, remember the one big, beautiful bill that you voted for?
Right.
See, had you voted no, they wouldn't have had time to do this rescissions package, you dumb twat.
Right. Yes. And even though so many of even Murkowski was like, I'm against this bill. She and Susan Collins were the only ones that voted against the rescission. But there were plenty of other Republicans that said they don't agree with shutting down public funding that once again just voted on party lines.
I hate them all.
Me too.
I fucking hate them all.
I do too. So anyway, it's very depressing. Thank God we can still put out the information that we put out. This is the kind of thing that makes me thankful that I have the capability of putting something on YouTube. It costs me nothing.
Yeah.
You and I get together, and yes, I have fancy recording software because it is what it is. But at the end of the day, you and I can get together and put out what we want to get put out, and nobody can stop us as of yet. So we'll see if that happens in the future. But fucking Christ, people coming after Elmo. I mean, for realsies, I just can't believe it.
I know.
Okay.
And I'm glad that we got to see Stephen Colbert.
So that is true. Nicole is wearing her Late Show with Stephen Colbert shirt that she and I got the evening that we went to New York and actually got to sit into the audience and watch an actual Stephen Colbert show, which is the first time I ever sat in a studio audience. Is that the first time you've ever sat in a studio? Okay.
No.
I've
January
never done it before.
2020 is when we were in New York, right before COVID hit.
That's right. New York.
And Kesha was the musical guest.
I forgot that.
Yeah. And Big Frida was with her.
I totally forgot that.
Yeah. It was very interesting watching how that gets done.
Right. Because didn't we see 2 episode recordings?
Yes.
Because there was an article. I mean, there was an interview with Lorna Dern.
Yes.
And then someone else, if I remember correctly.
Larry David?
David? It was Larry David. And that's right, because I'm like, really, Larry David? And then it was really interesting. That's right. And I totally forgot Kesha was a musical guest.
Yeah.
It was
great.
I know,
right?
Yeah. Yes. And there we are, we're so old.
And you could see us in the crowd. When they panned the crowd, you could see us.
You could see us. And I think I was wearing like a bright red sweater, wasn't I?
Yeah, which is how you found us in the thing. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think I was wearing a bright red sweater, which helped find us. Anyway, crazy. I love the fact that you and I were able to go see the Stephen Colbert Late Show. Now that he is the Late Show shutting down, it's at least a thing that we have that no future generations will have. So
that's right. Yep.
The end of an era.
That's right.
We're going to have to get in. So we're going to have to get in the, we're going to have to see how to get into the Daily Show pretty quick, because I have a feeling they might be next. Let's be honest.
It's what I'm worried about too. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah.
All right. Anything else that we have to talk about this week before we get our happy ending?
Nope. I'm ready to give it to you.
Okay. I'm ready to receive it.
Okay. So your happy ending this week is coming out of California, you know, that hippie enclave of liberalness.
Yes.
So the article says teens learn the lost arts of sewing and ironing at new summer camp taught by local grandmas to stave off loneliness.
Oh,
listen how cute this
awesome.
is. I know. Listen how cute this is. So in Fullerton, California, every Tuesday and Thursday in July, the Golden Connections Club, a student-led group from nearby Garden Grove, gathers at a community service place for an intergenerational summer camp. Seniors teach kids practical skills that once filled every household: sewing, ironing, cooking, embroidery, and more. So the club's founder is a high school sophomore. She is trying to bridge, Oh, sorry.
I say, okay. So let me ask you this: like, can any student like get in and do whatever?
I think so. So it says that she's trying to bridge the gap between generations while giving her peers a chance to connect with elders in a meaningful, hands-on way. She said, there's so much wisdom that lives in our older generation. We want to learn from them, not just about skills, but about life. So it was sparked by the community center's mission to help seniors stay active and by this girl's own experience growing up close to her own grandmother. So It sounds like she lives in an intergenerational home. Yeah. And so then she wanted it for other people. So I think, let me see, every week involves both a craft and a cooking session. Oh. 1 week, kids learn how to fold spring rolls, and another day they practice stitching. Oh. So she said it's not about perfection. It's about just the joy of creating something with their hands. Yeah. And it also helps the older generation stave off loneliness because, you know, they're focusing now on the kids and how are we teaching them and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's really great. Yeah. One camper said, I thought it was just going to be cooking. I didn't expect to make a new friend who's 80. I love that.
That's awesome.
I know. I love that. So,
because to your point, like not, you know, especially now that like people don't live so close to their parents, their grandparents all the time, like to have a resource like that is really beneficial. I'm lucky enough that my parents live here, but I will say my mother's tried to teach me how to sew multiple times. In almost every scenario, it ends up in staples. Yeah. So she gave up on me.
Yeah. I you know, I've never learned to sew. My husband and my child will sew buttons back on for me. I just buy a new shirt.
Yes. Yes.
I'm like, oh, well, the shirt's destroyed now. I've lost a button. Got to buy a new shirt. Damn it.
Indeed.
Yes.
That's right now I still take mine back to my mother and I'm like, Mom, can you fix this for me? And then she fixes it for me and I'm very happy. But to your, like, I think I can sew on a button, but anything beyond that, like hem, people are like, can you hem your own pants? I'm like, I can staple them shorter.
Right.
Like,
yeah, no, like
I even have gold staples. Like I can make it fucking fancy, but that's the extent of it.
Yeah, no, my grandmother and great grandmother could make our clothes. And I remember when I went on a field trip in 3rd grade, I think, when we went to Mount Gilead, the 1-room schoolhouse. Yeah. My great grandmother and grandmother made my prairie dress and all the things. Like I literally looked like I walked out of Little House on the Prairie.
Girl, my mother, the number of costumes my mother has made for me.
Yeah.
Like even, you remember when I was Professor McGonagall one year for Halloween? Yes. Mom made me that one. Like, wow. Yes. My mother could sew. Amazing. She's tried to teach me. I cannot sew. I don't have an aptitude for it, but my child is trying to learn how to sew. So we'll see what happens.
Good for him. I just don't have the patience. Shocker. I know, for you to find that out. I don't have the patience.
Me neither. Yeah. I know. I'm with you. I feel you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this one was a little bit long, but I hope you guys are feeling a little bit better with the stories of the youngins and their and their grandmothers and learning actual life lessons and things that are important in life. So I love that story. That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Find Out Nation. Please, again, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed so you get notified every time there's a new episode. Or if you're on any of our podcast stations, of course, we are on all of them: Spotify, Apple, Amazon. Hopefully you are finding them wherever you listen to podcasts. We, again, are appreciative for everybody that listens to us, and we love you guys so much.
That's right. Stay strong. Good night.
Bye.